What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the BK Nothing But Nets podcast. I am your host today, joined with me by my co-host, Gary. Um, if you want, feel free to plug in your Twitter where we can find you, and then we'll get into it.
Y'all can find me at 3D Boxer Blog on Twitter, and we're live on the channel anyway. Did you want to throw this on your channel too? I can still put it live on your channel.
Yeah, go for it.
I forgot. I still
no worries.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, we're going to be doing a 2-round mock draft today. I know we've been kind of promising this for a little bit. We are going to do first-round trades. We're going to do one lottery simulation, but I have a fully updated top 75 big board. There are a couple of players who are currently in the transfer portal, one of which has actually already committed, so we'll no longer be able to use him. That's JT Toppin. But the top 75 list is complete, so it's really down to about 67 to 72, depending on who you want to count as a transfer, still in the transfer portal, hasn't fully declared yet. But yeah, fully updated big board. It's not going to be on Fanspo right now because we weren't able to figure out a way to log in on Gary's end. But we're going to do one lottery simulation real quick, so this way you guys can see where the cards fall, and then we'll get right into it. So if you want to scroll down for us real quick to do that lottery simulation. Also, if you are new around here, make sure to subscribe. You can follow me and find me on Instagram at NetsPress. For your fastest, most reliable things, all sorts, Brooklyn Nets news, and yeah, let's get into it.
So, all right, create
lotto simulation. All right, let's see where the cards fall. Currently listed at 6. They already updated it. Okay, so Houston's at 9. Yeah, that's as accurate. All right, let's get it. One lottery simulation. Everyone knows the rules.
Everybody knows the rules. Yeah.
Yep. And Brooklyn lands number 2. So good lotto sim there. If you want, click use in mock draft. Philly gets bounced out of the top 6 as well. Thank God. So that pick goes to OKC. Charlotte wins the lottery, which is something I could fully expect. So if you scroll down a bit, click on NBA, and then click on no ceilings for the draft board. Again, we weren't able to get my fully updated draft board, so I'm going to be reading off paper for some of these picks. I haven't done a mock draft with this fully updated big board just yet, so this is going to be off the spot. We also are going to do trades. But yeah, first overall pick, no explanation needed. He's staying in North Carolina. The Charlotte Hornets select Cooper Flagg. This doesn't even need to be explained anymore. He is at that generational talent type of level in terms of hype. So he'll be unanimous. And number 2, it's again unanimous. And of course, we get lucky. Brooklyn Nets select Dylan Harper. Yeah, I mean, this is a dream scenario. If Brooklyn is able to get lucky, I am not going to fully invest in it or get myself happy, but Dylan Harper would be by far. I actually, if I'm just talking in terms of fit, specifically for this year with the current construction of the team, I actually think Harper's a better fit than Flagg. Of course, I think Flagg's the better player, but Harper to me is just the perfect fit to put alongside Cam Thomas and Claxton for next year. So at number 2, we go Harper. And number 3 is Washington. I always have them interchangeable, but in this one, we will stick with Ace. So Ace Bailey going number 3 to Washington. I think they just need best player available with the highest upside.
If this was real life, aren't you just already happy? Like, we already got Dylan Harper. I don't care if every other draft is a bust. Like, if every other pick is Inked already. We just got Dylan Harper. We get the best player we've probably ever drafted.
1,000%. 1,000%. Yeah. I mean, to me, this kid's floor is a taller Jalen Brunson, and his ceiling to me is of Cade Cunningham or James Harden. So I think that is by far the best pick you can possibly ask for. At pick number 4, the Toronto Raptors. So they bump up, I believe it was from 8 to 4. They're going to go VJ Edgecombe. And again, I think this is another perfect fit to solidify our top 4. They're already in talks about potentially moving on from RJ Barrett. You'd have to think they're maybe going for either more depth or for a potential big man.
What do you think the trade market is for RJ Barrett?
I think it's going to be pretty high, to be honest. I think that he could fetch at least a first and a protected first. I kind of see his value similar to what Cam Johnson's was.
I was just going to ask you about that trade. It's not. It wouldn't get us any draft capital, but I think it would get you a much better player. Would you? Yeah. Would any team consider Cam Johnson for RJ Barrett in a swap?
No, because they're already wing heavy.
Yeah.
So they already have Ingram. They already have Scotty Barnes. They have whatever that kid's name they got from Utah, I believe. They have a good amount of wings, and they also have, I believe, another pick in this draft. So to me, their focus needs to be point guard or center if they are to draft VJ Edgecombe. And to me, honestly, I think they're a sleeper team for Trae Young. If you were to package quickly and RJ for Trae Young, I think that's a really good potential package. But at the same time, both of their contracts are actually more than what Trae is making. So who knows what Atlanta's going to be able to do with that. Maybe they keep quickly as a sixth man and just go with Barrett to put alongside Risha Shar, whatever his name is, Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu, and whoever they end up drafting. But I definitely see Toronto as a dark horse team for Trae Young. We're at pick number 5 right now?
5. Yeah.
I think this would be a really shitty spot for Utah if they fall to 5.
And I do think the NBA is going to stick it to Utah for the tank that they did. I would not be surprised if they drafted 5 or 6. Like, this is where I'm expecting Utah to draft.
Yeah. To me, it says their biggest need is point guard. I completely disagree. They have Keontae George. They have Isaiah Collier. They're already talking about bringing Walker Kessler back, so I don't think they go Kaman Malawak. I think they're just going to go best available with the highest upside in terms of offensive ability to put alongside Lauri Markkanen. So to me, that's going to be Trae Johnson going number 5 here. A 6'6", more polished version of Cam Thomas. I think that's exactly what they need. Collier hasn't shown any upside as a scorer. He's an incredible playmaker. So having a lineup where you can consist of Keontae George, Trae Johnson, Lauri Markkanen, and Walker Kessler, I think that's something that they can definitely work with for next season. And at number 6 is the New Orleans Pelicans. This is where I am going to take Kaman Malawak. To me, it either comes down to Con Kneppel or Malawak here, or Derek Queen, whichever you prefer.
Why not Pierce?
Best fit. They have DeJounte Murray. I mean, he tore his Achilles. So
I forgot. You're right. I forgot that he's off the Pelicans. They got DeJounte Murray. That's right. Yeah.
I mean, he's going to miss majority of the season next year. But realistically, there's no need to replace him. He's on a long-term deal. And to me, Uzi, whatever his name is, Missy, whatever they drafted him last year out of Baylor, the center, he's not good enough to be a starting caliber center. So, you already have Trey Murphy, Herb Jones as your focal points. If you miss out on VJ Edgecombe and Trae Johnson, I think they have to go center. So to me, it's a no-brainer for them to go Kaman Malawak, especially if they're looking to move off of Zion. To have a young core that consists of Trey Murphy, Herb, and Malawak, I think that's definitely a nice building block for them, especially that they have the Bucks picks. They could definitely bottom out again next season and hope that Giannis is traded from Milwaukee to potentially have 2 lottery picks next year. So I definitely can see that being very beneficial for them. At number 7.
I wanted to ask you, we are doing trades.
We are doing trades. Yeah, it's
what's
tough.
it going to take Cam Johnson and how many picks to get this pick? Because go ahead.
Well, so I'm gonna have OKC stick and pick here. If they are to get the 76ers pick, I do see them sticking and picking, whether it be Malawak or who we're going to take here, which is Con Kneppel.
You're going to take Con Kneppel, you said?
Yeah, we're going to take Con Kneppel here. I think it's a perfect fit. And I think they also need to start being a little bit more serious with who they're drafting. They can't keep drafting the highest upside raw prospect. They need a guy that they can plug in right away. I actually think they're going to get exposed this year in the playoffs. You're already starting to see it down the stretch of the season.
That's why I was thinking Cam Johnson would make sense to him. If we gave him Cam Johnson, the Bucks pick, and the Knicks pick, is that enough? Or would they not want that many picks? Like, we don't need. I
don't know if they can financially do it because SGA is going to be due for an extension. Jalen Williams is going to be due for an extension. Chet's going to be due for an extension. They're in a position where they will have. Oh no! Did we get an error?
We got an error.
Restart it. We'll do those quick. Hopefully the lottery didn't change. That would suck.
No, it's gonna change.
No, good. Go right into it. Go right into it. See if it works.
I can't. This is what
meaning yeah. Go down to start draft on the bottom. Let's see if the lottery saves. Yeah, that would suck if it didn't, because that'll fuck this all up. Please be Charlotte. Bang. All right, we're good. So yeah, just go Flag, go Harper. Yeah, we'll run down this real quick before we explain the OKC.
So we went. VJ was 4th, correct? So it was basically VJ was 4th, right?
Yeah, VJ was 4. Trey Johnson 5.
Trey Johnson 5.
And then MOock at 6 to New Orleans. Concanepal 7 to the Thunder. But yeah, to me, OKC is in a position where they need to, especially if they lose before the Western Conference. I mean, if they don't make the finals this year, it's a lost season. They need to be serious. They're sitting on too much draft capital. They're sitting on too much that's going to be invested into their potential big 3. I think it's time they need to make a move, and that's Giannis. So if he becomes available, I think they should go all in for him. But this is where it gets interesting, right? If Brooklyn lands a top 2 pick, you would have to think they get a bit aggressive. And I also think that San Antonio is going to be in play for a guy like Kevin Durant. So to me, this is where we can see a potential Brooklyn trade up. So that's what we're going to do. If you do trade pick, we're going to have Brooklyn move up. Yeah, let's go Brooklyn. Do they have them at 18 yet?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So they did update that. So yeah, we're going to give them pick 18 for 8, and we're also going to throw in Cam Johnson. So yeah, go 8 for 18. Yeah. And then if you want, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do here. We're going to also throw them pick 27. We're going to go 18. Yeah, we're going to go 18, 27 and Cam Johnson for. So if you want to type that in the notes real quickly, so we can have it.
18 and 27. We did 27 plus CJ.
Yeah, 18, 27 plus CJ for Harrison Barnes, the 8th overall pick. And we're going to say the 2026 Atlanta first round pick, top 10 protected.
And 2026 Atlanta pick, top 10 protected.
I think that's a realistic offer. You're giving up 2 picks to move up 10 spots realistically, right? You're moving up from 18 to 8. You got to throw in an extra first. And if they really are in play for a Kevin Durant, you would have to think that they're going to want to add young prospects to throw into the deal as well. This kind of solidifies that they'd be moving on from Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson in any Kevin Durant deal on top of who they could be picking between 16, 18, and 27. So to me, I think this is a win-win deal. The Atlanta pick, who knows if it happens or not. But for this instance, we're going to do it. So if you want to click trade pick there, we'll have Brooklyn on the clock here.
We're back on the clock.
And this is what, the 8th overall pick?
I know who I want. Let's see. I know who I would take here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it can't be Jeremiah Fears because we got Dylan Harper. So for me, the next position of need is big man. We're going to go Derek Queen here.
Yep.
And this actually kind of takes away. Well, I mean, we missed out on 8. We moved 18, so we're not going to be in play for Thomas Sorber. So this works out great. You get your point guard, you get your center. And again, these are the 2 positions I've said this year that you really need to focus on, because if you miss out on Flag or Ace, there's really not many wings with incredibly high upside outside of high caliber role players. So to me, you really need to strike big on the point guard and center to hopefully land one of those top 5 picks next year, 4 of which are wing players. So I think that's a great fit for them there at number 8. Going to number 9, the Houston Rockets, thanks to the Brooklyn Nets and the Phoenix Suns, are picking in the top 10. This is where it can get interesting, right? Because a lot of people are high on Yakachonis. I am not as high on him. I do believe Jeremiah Fears is the better player. And that's who I'm going to go with. I'm going to go Jeremiah Fears to Houston. I think that he is a perfect fit under Ime Udoka. I think that they are going to be a team that is in play for Kevin Durant as well. You know, if you're telling me that you could have a potential lineup that consists of Jeremiah Fears, Alperen Sengun, Amen Thompson, KD, you just really have to figure out who's playing the 2. whether that be Reed Shepard or if he's in that package as well. Maybe it's Dylan Brooks or he's in that package. Either way, they're in a great position to get Kevin Durant with the Suns picks. So to me, it's a no-brainer to take Fears there. And at number 10, this is where we're going to end off our top 10. I'm going to actually have the Portland Trailblazers select Colin Murray Boyles. He is probably the, I would say, second, maybe third best defender in this draft class. You can really make a debate whether it's him or Kaman Malawak. In terms of all-around defensive ability, I think Boyles is better than Malawak. As a rim protector, of course, when you're comparing a 6'7" forward to a 7'2" center, it's going to be in favor of the center. So Colin Murray Boyles at 10, though. He can score within the paint. The three ball is not great, but there is room for progression. But at 6'7", he is a pest on defense and a bully down low offensively. So I think that's a great fit for Portland, who seems to have found a star in Denny Avila. So they're moving in the right direction. Chicago here at 11. This is where I usually have Derek Queen when I'm not doing trades. But for me, this is where I'm going to have them take Kasparas Jakučionis. I don't think they're going to bring back Josh Giddey. And to me, you need a replacement for Giddey. So why not get a 6'6" guard who does similar things to Giddey in terms of all-around offensive ability, right? He can rebound, he can play make, he can score. The shot's a bit inconsistent, but it's something that could be fixed. So to me, Jakučionis is a clear pick here at number 11. Previously projected top 5, had a bit of a rough conference play and March Madness in terms of efficiency and turnover to or assist to turnover ratio. So having him drop to 11, I think is about right. Miami at number 12. He's been a riser. I don't know if I fully agree with it, but I'm going to have the Miami Heat select Jace Richardson from Michigan State. If you click on point guard, he should pop up within the top 5 guys.
They got him at 20, yeah.
Yeah, they haven't updated the big board in forever. Yeah, Jace Richardson, very, very similar. He's like a combo of a Tyrese Maxey and a CJ McCollum. And I think that's exactly what Miami needs. A guy who can defend really well for his size. It moves Hero back to the 2. And you have a young core of Hero, Bam, and Jace Richardson, along with Jaime Jaquez. They're starting to replenish some of their draft capital. So to me, I think this is a great fit for him.
They haven't updated their big board recently because they still got him at 20 and they have Fears at 14. They haven't updated their rankings yet.
Yeah, no, they haven't. I don't know if they're going to. I even reached out to Fanspo because I've been in touch with them a few times, but they haven't responded. So I don't know when the next time they're going to update it is. But yeah, Dallas is here at 13, and this is actually where we are going to have a trade up.
Okay.
We are going to let's see some of the teams that are available here in the coming picks.
Atlanta, San Antonio, Orlando, Minnesota. Well, this is gone now. Remember that.
Mm-hmm. Oh wait, but we're still there. Did you add the 18th pick to the Spurs?
I did.
Interesting. When we get there,
I'll trade it again. Yeah. I'll just take 4 players or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I like Orlando moving up here potentially. I don't mind that at all, and I think that's the route that we're going to take. So yeah, let's go Orlando moving up. They're going to give up pick 15 and a second round pick. Let's go with 42. So 15 and 42 for 13.
45?
45? Yeah, 45. Yeah. Oh yeah, they really did update this. So yeah, we'll go and then pick 15 on top as well.
So hang on. 16.
Oh, is it 6? Okay, yeah. Go 16 and then have Dallas shift their pick over to Orlando. So yeah, we'll keep it there for now. Who knows if a player is involved or an extra pick, but I think Dallas moving back for an extra pick is definitely something they may try and do, especially with how stacked their roster is. I think they're going to kind of need certain pieces to fill certain needs that they may have, especially with some of these lingering injuries that they've had. Kyrie tearing his ACL. So moving back here, I definitely think it's a smart spot for them, especially Orlando with who we're going to have them take. So let's click on trade picks. The Orlando Magic are going to select Igor Demon, point guard out of BYU. To me, they need shooting, but at the same time, I think that they need to figure out who their primary ball handler is going to be. They've kind of been messing around with Anthony Black, Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs. I feel like they need that solidified point guard spot out of the way. So for me, Igor Demon could be the point guard of the future for them. And especially with his height, it makes it very difficult to face off against Orlando. At 6'9", he's going to be playing alongside Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. Very raw offensive ability, but something that I do expect to get a little bit better. In March Madness, he did shoot much better from 3. So I'm expecting that to translate as well into the NBA. But again, comparison, very similar to Josh Giddey. And I expect the playmaking to take a leap as well. The playmaking numbers look low, but there really wasn't many people he was throwing the ball to at BYU. So I absolutely love the pick there for Orlando, grabbing Igor Demon. At pick number 14 is the Atlanta Hawks, and they get absolutely shafted by missing out on Jace Richardson, Yakachonis, and Igor Demon. To me, I'm hearing his name as a very large riser. And we're going to have him go with the last pick in the lottery. That's going to be Carter Bryant out of Arizona. The stats don't show the true story. At 6'8", 225, and 18 years old, he's one of the rawest prospects in this year's draft class. Again, inevitably, if they move on from Trae Young, I think that grabbing a prospect who is very high upside could be very compelling for them. They also have an extra first-round pick later on, so we'll likely go point guard there, unless depending on what they get for Trae Young in the offseason. But Carter Bryant rounds out our lottery. At pick number 15, who do we have here? Is this? San Antonio.
It's San Antonio.
Okay, so
how much longer are we going to let Aston Noel? That's my guy. How much further is he going to drop?
This is actually, it's tough. I mean, they do have multiple picks now, so they'll have what, 27, 18, and 15. To me, they actually do need a player like Aston Noel, and that's who I was thinking of going with anyway. We're going to have Aston Noel to San Antonio. At 6'11", with Wemby's health issues, they definitely need somebody who can do similar things to what Wemby does in terms of offensive production and stretching the floor. The 3-ball, I think it'll translate well. I think he'll be able to get that worked out. Wasn't extremely efficient in college, but again, kind of reminds me of a Noah Clowney-like player. So I think that's a really good
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing anymore, but yeah.
Yeah, hopefully just lack of ankle injuries for him once he gets up to the NBA. But yeah, I like that pick for San Antonio. There's definitely some other options that I may have thought of, but I think that's a really good fit for them, especially if they do decide to trade back and get 3 first-round picks. I feel like they kind of just want to go best available, so I don't mind Aston Noel there. And then at pick number 16, this is now the Dallas Mavericks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait, is this Orlando? This is Orlando?
With the 16th pick, no, this was Orlando's pick. Now it's Dallas's. Mavericks receive.
Wait, why does Dallas have Igor Demon though?
But they don't. Wait.
Yeah, it says team picks Igor Demon. Okay, let's scroll up a little bit.
Yeah.
Click undo pick, and we're gonna have to go back to, what did we have Igor at, 13?
Wait, hang on. Where am I? Where's undo pick?
If you scroll up above on the clock. And then a little bit more. Undo traffic. Let's go back to the 13th pick. We'll fix this up real quick. So yeah, we're going to ship the Mavericks pick to Orlando. Oh, you went a little too far back.
I went too far?
Yeah, who did we have going to Miami? It was what, Jace Richardson?
Jace Richardson. Yeah.
We'll do that. Yeah, sometimes the site glitches a little too much. There's times we'll all trade picks and it just doesn't go over.
All right. Jace Richardson draft. Continue.
And then click on trade pick. And
trade pick.
Yep. Click on Orlando. They're going to be at 25 now because we gave 16. Or no, there they are, right above Miami at 20.
Okay.
And then just give 13. Yeah, we'll do that.
And that's it?
Yep.
Because we
already gave up 16 and 45.
All right.
All right. So Orlando takes Igor Demon. I want to say he's further up.
Oh, yeah. He's all up. Yeah. Okay. Here he is.
And then Carter Bryant at 14 to Atlanta.
He was down on my charts. Okay. All right.
And then we're at, okay, and then go Austin Newell. All right, yeah, now we're fully up to date.
All right. So then, all right. I'm on San Antonio now. I've lost track. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, San Antonio,
Yeah,
Austin Newell.
All right.
And then 16 should be Dallas now, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're at Dallas's pick here. They can really go in numerous directions. To me, I think they need a wing, especially with some of the guards off the board here. So for me, I'm going to have them take. I'm going to have them take Will Riley at 16. I think this is a guy that pretty much compares to Cam Johnson. And in terms of what Dallas needs, they really don't need much. So a guy that can come off of the bench, hit the three ball consistently, defend very well. I think that's a really good pick for them at 16. It may be a little bit of an overvalue in terms of draft position, but with a team like Minnesota up next, who also needs shooting, I could definitely see him going there. And he also had a great March Madness and conference play. So to me, I think he rose his stock very, very well. At number, 17 with Minnesota, I'm going to have them select Liam McNeely. He was a previous lottery pick, potentially top 10. So to me, I think you got to just go with the best 3-point shooter available. They don't have much of it. They're losing Naz Reid this offseason. They're looking to make a move for an extra star to put alongside Anthony Edwards. So for me, I think it's a great pick for them. And then this pick was traded to San
Antonio.
Yeah. So we're gonna fix that real quickly as well. San Antonio was just above, right there at 27. So yeah, this pick goes to San Antonio in the previous deal that we did. And for those who weren't here for it, we gave up Cam Johnson, pick 18 and 27, to the San Antonio Spurs for Harrison Barnes, pick 8. And a future first-round pick that's protected. So San Antonio back on the clock here at 18. And let's see who is on the board currently. I have a couple of guys on my big board that I'm thinking of here. This is tough. There's 2 players that I would think of here. I'm between Ben Seraph and Noah Sangwu.
I was going to say Sangwu, so you want to just do that?
Yeah, let's go with Sangwu here. I mean, they got Austin Newell, but I think the French connection will always live strong, especially with Wemby there. And I feel like the wing position is kind of what they need most. They have De'Aaron Fox, they have Stephon Castle. And again, depending on if they really are in the sweepstakes for Kevin Durant, who is a wing, it's probably best to draft an extra wing that you could include in that package. So I think that's a good pick for them. He's got high upside, can space the floor. I think his last game in the Euro League, he put up like 24 and 8. So I absolutely love that pick for them at number 18. Another guy who could go lottery. Realistically, picks 13 through 20 are very interchangeable. There's a couple of guys that you may see go in the lottery that you weren't expecting who were previously projected around like 17 through 21. That's how kind of middle ground the 13 through 21 overall picks are going to be. So I expect a lot of interchangeable picks within that range. But at number, 19 now or 20? I want to say
19.
Utah Jazz are back up, and they got Trey Johnson already. To me, you kind of have to go big here. And I think I'm going to have them go Thomas Sorber. You got to be careful as in case if Walker Kessler does have to get moved. But if not, you also now have your backup center for when you eventually need to move on from Walker Kessler. So Thomas Sorber at 19 to the Jazz. I would hate to see him go there, but I think it's a great pick for them. At number 20 is the Orlando Magic up again. And this is, again, a very interesting pick. For me, I think they need to go with a guy that they can plug in immediately, not a raw prospect. So for me, I think they're going to go with Nick Clifford out of Colorado. He can do it all. He can play make, he can rebound, he can score at will from all 3 levels of the floor at an efficient rate. He played all 4 years in college. To me, it's a great fit. I think this is a microwave guy off the bench, if not as your starting 2 guard while Igor comes off the bench in his rookie season to potentially have a starting 5 that consists of Jalen Suggs, Clifford, Franz Wagner, Paulo, and Wendell Carter. I definitely think that's a big improvement on what they've had this past season. So Clifford at 20 is a great fit for them. And with Miami's pick here at 21, there's many different options that they could go with. It really depends on what they think is fitting. Let's scroll down a bit here because I have a couple of guys on my board that aren't being shown just yet. Let's see. I mean, I could see them trading this pick as well.
Yeah, I was just like, nothing here really shocks at me.
Yeah, let's go with a trade. Washington has 3 second-round picks, and I believe they also have the 24th overall pick. So I think I'm going to have Washington move up here. We had them select Ace Bailey, so I think they need to go point guard here. And especially with Miami already taking a point guard, I absolutely love the fit here. So we're going to do 21 for 24, and let's do one of those second-round picks as well. You can pick which one. I definitely think Miami would take this. Yeah, I think Miami would take this simply because they're somewhat in a retool. So having an extra pick, I think, is definitely beneficial for them. So we'll have Washington move up here, and we're going to have them select Nolan Traore out of France. If you compare him with Ace Bailey, that's an incredible draft.
Yeah.
Nolan Traore was a guy who's previously projected top 5. Had a bit of a rough season, was all the way down to the late 20s. But I think he's risen his stock a little bit. He could go as high as 14 potentially. This is one of those guys that I say could be very interchangeable between that 14 and 20 range. So to get him at 20, 21, I think that's great value for them.
All right, we are on to Miami.
Miami again, Jesus. I didn't know it was only one pick.
Yeah,
I mean, this is tough because you would have to think this is an obvious pick, but you don't know if he's actually going to declare or not. For this instance, I'm going to say that he did. I don't think that he can slip anymore, especially to a team that would absolutely utilize him to perfection, and that's Yaxel Lendeborg out of UAB. If there's ever been a player that screams Miami more than this guy, I don't know who it would be, because at 6'8", 6'9", averaging 18 points, a double-double, he can play make at will too. Very solid floor spacer from 3. You can see there. I mean, the guy lit it up the last 2 months of the college basketball season. So to me, Yaxel Lendeborg at pick number 22 to Miami is a perfect fit, especially if they look to move off of a guy like Jaime Jaquez here shortly, potentially to package a couple of their young pieces and salary fillers for a third star. They're, like I said, they're kind of in that retool middle ground stage. After moving on from Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero looks like he's a solidified second, third option. Bam, still a high caliber defensive player and star. So to me, I absolutely love that fit for them there. OKC, this is where I'm going to have to go Danny Wolf. I think it is a perfect fit for Danny Wolf to go to OKC, especially if they are going to look to add a guy like Giannis. The player that would be in that package is Isaiah Hartenstein, simply because of financial purposes.
Yeah.
And what better way to replace Hartenstein than with a almost comparable version of him? Danny Wolf can play make out of the post. He can rebound at will. Not the greatest defender, similar to Hartenstein, but a guy that'll be able to facilitate an offense and score in the post. I think that's a really good fit for them, especially if they decide to go in for a guy like Giannis. At 24, it looks like this is the Atlanta Hawks. This is their final pick of the draft. And they got Carter Bryant. Yeah, I don't think he can fall any further. This has to be Ben Seraph. He is a combo guard. He can play the 1, he can play the 2. Very good facilitator. And especially if they're looking to move off of Trae Young, I think this makes perfect sense for them at 24. How he's here at 24 is beyond me. I mean, you could have changed him and Nolan Traore potentially with the Utah pick?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're very interchangeable. I think the upside on Traore is just a bit more. But if Seraph is there at 24 and they haven't selected a point guard yet, Atlanta got an absolute steal.
All right, we're on to 25, and that's Pacers.
The Pacers pick is confusing because to me, it comes down to, are they going to bring back Miles Turner or not? And if they can't, they've already missed out on Sorber and Danny Wolf. So now the next question would be, do they go with the replacement point guard, or do they just get another wing, knowing that they may move on from a guy like Benedict Mathurin to fill that center position via trade? It's tough because the big board in terms of the first round is really starting to dwindle. Yeah. Who's up next, by the way? Is it Orlando? No, Orlando's at 20. We're at what, 25? This will be San Antonio.
Next pick up is us. It's Brooklyn.
Okay. To me, if you're Indiana here, there's really not much for you, and I think that you just need to take him to simply fill the position of need. I'm going to go Janai Broome out of Auburn. I have him on my big board at 27, but I think when you're in a position where there's no great point guards on the board that kind of fit what you need, you don't need a Walter Clayton because you have guys like Nembhard and TJ McConnell under contract. I definitely think that they just need to add some insurance on the big man position. So Janai Broome at 25. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I think that that's a perfect fit for him, especially if they lose Miles Turner. And while he's waiting, I believe we have it's Brooklyn and then San Antonio with our pick at 27. So at 26, there's different routes that you can take. Realistically, you're going to have to go wing here. You already grabbed Dylan Harper. You already traded up a haul for Derek Queen at number 8. My big board currently that we have still on the board, let's see. Rasheer Fleming still here, Walter Clayton, Boogie Flan, Addo Thiaro, and Isaiah Evans. That's who I have rounding out my first round. You can even have some second round options that you could go with here. Hugo Gonzalez, Noah Penda, Cam Jones. There's a couple of guys that I like here. We're likely going to take Rasheer Fleming. I think that's just a no-brainer. Bleacher Report's most recent mock draft has us taking him at 27. So I think that this is a perfect fit to add Rasheer Fleming at 26. Personally, I don't understand.
We're taking Fleming here? That's our pick? Okay.
Yeah, we're taking Fleming there. Personally, I don't understand why he's dropping so much. But again, when you have young players with high upside, teams are going to take that. And especially when you have teams like Washington who's rebuilding, Utah who's rebuilding, you have Orlando that has specific needs in terms of floor spacing at certain positions. You have Miami who's retooling. There's teams within that like 16 through 24 range that really don't need a Rasheer Fleming. So I think that there's a world where he could potentially fall to 26 and land in Brooklyn's lap. So I absolutely love the pick there at 26. San Antonio back on the board. They've already gone 2 wing spots. No Janai Broome on the board, so they're not going center here. To me, this is potentially... I usually don't have...
Did they trade this pick too?
No, I think they stick and pick because I think these 3 guys, 1 or 2 of them would be included in a package for a KD if they're in that position. So it's tough because the only players that I have currently on my big board for the first round that's remaining is Boogie Flan, Addo Thiaro, Isaiah Evans, and Walter Clayton. And that's actually who we're going to go with. I'm going to go Walter Clayton here to San Antonio as a just microwave scorer off the bench behind Stephon Castle and De'Aaron Fox. You may have to type his name or just click on point guard because he's probably really far down. But I think this is a really good fit, especially since he can play the 1 and the 2. He can kind of fill in for Fox or Walter or Stephon Castle when needed.
At all? How's that?
Yeah, he's in there somewhere. You may not be able to type. He may be under his shooting guard then. Let's see. I would go up. I wouldn't assume he's that far down. Damn.
There he is.
There he is.
40,
all right.
48. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Walter Clayton there. I think that's a really good pick. We all saw what he did in March Madness. There's some people who are trying to make the debate that he could be a lottery pick. I'm not buying it. We've seen seniors in college, put up incredible numbers in March Madness. At the end of the day, the upside still isn't high. Role players are usually role players. And to me, when you play 4 years in college, the upside to develop in the NBA isn't as high. So to me, being a high caliber role player, I think is a great fit for him in San Antonio, who is going to look to contend as long as Wemby is healthy next season. So I absolutely love the 3 picks that they got there, and especially having 2 young upside wings, one of them of which could be packaged for a guy like KD along with Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell. So don't hate that at all for them. Boston's up here at 28. Kind of hard to pass them up here. Depending on what they do, I mean, there's talks about Porzingis potentially being traded. There's talks about Drew Holiday potentially being traded. They have Peyton Pritchard. They have Derek White. So their guards are pretty filled. I don't think they would go with a Boogie Flan here. To me, it really depends. Do they want a guy that they can plug in immediately off the bench, or do they want what many are saying is one of the highest upside 3 and D players in this draft, which is Isaiah Evans? I think I'm going to go with fit here in terms of they're contending. We know they're going to be contending for at least another 4 more years. They're starting to hit that financial cap issue where they're above the second apron, and they'll start having to pay hefty fines and losing picks in the near future. So to me, their window's now. We're going to have them select Addo Thiaro here at 28. I would hate to see him go here because he's one of my favorite, what we would call seasoned veterans of college. But you have to click on all.
Yeah.
But yeah, Addo Thiaro here is a perfect fit. Having a guy that you can play off the bench in replacement minutes to Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Porzingis. I think Drew Holiday is the guy that ends up getting traded. So for me, yeah, Addo Thiaro here is a perfect fit. And at 29, the Phoenix Suns, depending on the haul that they get for KD, again, you have Houston and San Antonio, to me, who are the clear front runners for him. Realistically, Houston's probably going to get it done because they want their picks back. But in a world where they want to try and retool around Devin Booker, I think San Antonio is the team to get it done. So we're going to say either point guard or forward here. To me, Addo Thiaro is off the table. Yaxel Lendeborg is off the table. Rasheer Fleming's off the table. There's really no second-round prospect that I love for them. So I'm going to have them take Boogie Flan. I think that they need a point guard. I think they're going to try and move off of Bradley Beal for anything that they can get. And Boogie showed coming back from the wrist surgery that he is still a high upside prospect. Wasn't really given high caliber minutes, and even when he was on the floor, they really weren't running anything through him. You could tell he wasn't really fully healthy. But I still think the upside is there as a point guard. So I like that fit for him in Phoenix. And then to end off the first round, we're actually going to have him fall. I'm going to take Cam Jones to end off the first round. I think the Clippers are one of those teams that have a very small window of opportunity to win. I don't think they're going to give up on Kawhi and Harden this year. So to me, go grab a guy you can plug in immediately to make an impact. If you want to scroll all the way to the bottom, we'll just give a quick recap of the first round. So this way, for those of you who are just joining, as you can see here, we made a couple of trades, not as many as I would usually do, but usually I try and do like 4 to 5 trades in the first round. I think that's just a realistic number of what you can see. But yeah, there's the picks. Let us know what you think, what changes you would make.
When was it the last time that a college team had 2 picks in the top 3 and didn't make the tournament? That's got to be a record.
Probably
right?
Never. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually impressive. Yeah, I mean it was a bad decision in terms of wanting to be successful in college. It was a cool decision to see, hey, if you're from New Jersey and you want to bring a co-star, but Rutgers just has too many problems. They weren't great within the transfer portal. Their coaching sucks. They don't have enough money to bring in big name guys from the transfer market. So, it's just they're not going to be anything incredible. But to start the second round, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves, who already selected Liam McNeely. The only player that I have on my big board from the first round that's still available is Isaiah Evans, but I don't know if they would go in that direction either. I do think that they go wing. Trying to see here who I like as a fit, because realistically you would need a Naz Reid replacement potentially if they don't bring him back, but I don't see one that I'm absolutely in love with here. So for me, I think that they're going to go with another high caliber scorer. So we're going to give them Isaiah Evans. Again, a guy that you can plug in 3 and D. I don't know if he's going to get huge minutes to start, but we're going to get him off the board here in the start of the second round. With the 32nd overall pick, this is the Celtics. They already got Addo Thiaro. I think this is where you see Maxime Reynaud go.
I was going to ask one of the big guys, or Kalkbrenner. You okay?
Yeah, I think they go Reynaud, especially again if they're looking to move off of Porzingis for cap reasons. This is a guy who played all 4 years in college. He's ready to go. You can plug him in immediately. He's already drawing comparisons to Brook Lopez, so he can't really space the floor. But do you really need much floor spacing when you have Al Horford, when you have Tatum, Brown, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser? I don't think so. And especially if you add Addo Thiaro, there's really not much you really need from him. So a guy that can just grab boards, score inside the post, block shots, I think that's exactly what he brings to the table. So I don't mind that at all. And then at 33 is the Charlotte Hornets. I think they are actually back-to-back here as well. I'm going to have them take... I'm going to have them take LeBaron Filan, point guard out of Alabama. And I'm also going to have them take Juan Beringer, the French center. I think that they go youth, especially if there is a question whether or not LaMelo Ball gets traded, whether Mark Williams gets traded. So I think they're kind of just filling out the positions of need here. Beringer is actually projected early second round, potentially even late first. I don't see the hype. He's only 6'9", but there is a lot of hype around him. I haven't gotten the chance to go around and watch much of his highlights yet, but from everything that I've read, high upside. So I think it's a really good pick for Charlotte, especially with the draft class. If you get Cooper Flagg, you really did no wrong. So Filan as a potential LaMelo replacement if they decide to trade him, and Beringer as a potential Mark Williams replacement if they decide to trade him. And then Philly at 35, they missed out on the top 6 pick thanks to the Thunder getting number 7. Kind of a rough spot for them, but I think it's especially if they decide to give Paul George and Embiid one more year. I think this is a good fit for them there. So I'm going to have you type in our first name. We're going to scroll all the way to the bottom and give them the worst player on the board, as long as it's a player I don't have on the big board. Give them that Zachariah guy, the second one, 117. And in the notes, have say Alex Condon out of Florida.
Okay.
Condon. He absolutely shit himself in the national championship game. I think in the first 5 minutes of the game, he had like 4 turnovers just based on traveling. He was definitely shaken up. Didn't look prepared. Kind of let the moment get to him. But at 6'11", he can space the floor. Solid defender and rim protector. I like that pick for them, especially if they're, like I said, looking to contend with Paul George, Jared McCain coming back healthy, Maxey coming back healthy, and then, of course, Embiid, if he can figure out his knee issue. And then this leaves Brooklyn up with their final pick. 36. They've selected 3 top 26 picks, 2 of which were top 10. And to end off the Nets portion of this draft, this gets a little tough. There's really not much I like here.
No, I'm gonna have Gonzalez?
Yeah, that's who I was gonna go. Okay. I'm not the biggest fan of him. I see multiple comparisons to Jonathan Kuminga. I watched his highlights. He looks nothing like Jonathan Kuminga. But this is an absolute Jordi Fernandez pick. The Spanish relation there kind of gives it away. So Hugo Gonzalez, a floor spacer, a guy that can shoot the 3, a guy that can put the ball on the floor and create his own shot. He finishes at the rim well. So to me, if you can get him at 36, I don't mind it. I would not waste a first-round pick on him, though. And then at 37 is the Detroit Pistons. Let's see. Hugo's gone. Jones is gone. Reynaud's gone. Filan's gone. Beringer's gone. Condon's gone. I think that this is a team that will look to either add a shooter in replacement of Tim Hardaway Jr. or Malik Beasley, or they're going to look the defensive end. So I'm kind of stuck in between Miles Bird and Noah Penda here. I think that their wing position is filled. Noah Penda kind of reminds me, in terms of defensive purposes, of Asor Thompson. So I don't think they would go that route. We're going to have them select Miles Bird I think this is a really good fit for them. The efficiency was not there whatsoever in college, but again, very good shooting mechanics, something that I think will translate very well in the NBA. So I have Miles Bird there going to Detroit. And then at 38, the San Antonio Spurs are back on the board. And again, we're going to go French connection. Give them Noah Penda. I think that.
How many times did they draft? This is the fourth time they draft. It just
Yeah, I
seems
mean,
like
considering
always
we
on
gave them
board.
2 picks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they had 3 walking into this, and then of course us giving them an extra first gives them 4 total. Toronto is up. Who did we give them in the first? We gave them VJ, so they filled their 2 need. This is tough. This is tough. I don't mind going Kalkbrenner here. I think that they do need a center in replacement of Jakob Poeltl eventually. So we're going to give them Ryan Kalkbrenner. I don't mind that at all. I don't even know who their backup big is. So if you're able to pull off VJ and Kalkbrenner, especially already having Brandon Ingram quickly, as of right now, still having Barrett, and then, of course, Scotty Barnes, I think that's something really good to work with. It's definitely a play-in team, if not a potential 6 seed, as long as Ingram and Barnes stay healthy. So I like that pick a lot for them there. And then at number, 41, the Washington Wizards are back on the board. JT Toppin, of course, is not in the draft. Ian Jackson, likely not in the draft.
Are we just skipping Alex Caravan?
If he's to go, I would think that it would have been either Minnesota or Boston, but the fit wasn't there for them, and especially a team like Washington who needs youth. I mean, I don't hate it, but at the same time, they already have Bilal Coulibaly. If they got Ace Bailey, I feel like their wing position is kind of filled.
Ian Jackson?
No, I don't even think he's going to be drafted this year.
Okay.
I think he's staying. I don't mind Bogalajub Markovic. Probably butchering that name, but he is an overseas player who has been putting up numbers. I actually watched a little bit of film on him. I believe he's 6'10 or 6'11, stretch 4. If you click on power forward, you should be able to find him a little bit easier.
What's his name?
Bogalajub. I'm probably butchering that. It's B-O-G-O.
I got him right here.
There you go.
Got him.
Yeah, say that name 3 times fast. You'll start sounding.
I'm not even gonna try it once. Yeah.
Yeah, 6'11. I just like the fit, especially with Sarr there. If you get Ace, that's a very, very tall, youthful team that you have going there. Yeah, he can play the 4, he can play the 5. I love the fit for them there. Golden State, we can't keep him on the board any longer. Give them Alex Caravan. I would usually go Kalkbrenner here, but I think if the centers are all off the board, I would not. Yeah, I wouldn't really go out of my way to grab like a Rocco Zikarsky, simply because it doesn't make sense. There's a couple of guys that we actually could have written in that I'm seeing now, but I guess we'll have them start going here shortly. Sacramento here at, 42? We're going to do another write-in, and this is Bennett Sturtz. I'm going blank on the college that he went to. Let me check real quick so this way I don't sound like a dumbass. Bennett Sturtz.
You want to just throw this guy in and say it's...
Yeah. Type in Bennett Sturtz. He went to Drake. He was the guard that was absolutely lighting it up in conference play and during March Madness. I actually had Drake going to the Sweet 16. That didn't end up happening. But yeah, I think Bennett Sturtz is a really good fit here for them. I'm trying to find his stats real quickly. He averaged 19 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists on 50% shooting, 39.5% from 3. And a Sacramento team that's kind of retooling after moving off of De'Aaron Fox. They refuse to fully commit to that rebuild. So I think Bennett Sturtz here is a really good fit to plug in off the bench as a catch and shoot 3 caliber type of player. So yeah, I like that fit for them there at 42. And then this is OKC. Jesus. The fact that they have picks should just be criminal. I'm going to go Milos Uzan here. Again, he's not a guy that's on Fanspo, so we're going to have to go with a random name. But Milos is the Houston guard. I believe he's 6'3", 6'4". Again, it's kind of tough because I don't go out of my way usually to find these names, but because Fanspo refuses to update their big boards, it's a little bit more difficult to find these.
All right, what? Give me spell the name for me.
Milos Uzan.
Uzan.
Yep. And then do Tucker DeVries because he's not in the draft anymore. He's transferring.
Yeah.
So Milos here to OKC. Again, just a plug in immediately type of player. Again, they're going to have to make a trade for somebody. And I have a feeling Giannis should be their option. You would have to think Isaiah Joe is gone. Potentially Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Hartenstein. So to me, fill the bench with guys you can plug in immediately. Utah's up again. They've already gotten Trey Johnson and Thomas Sorber. If you scroll all the way up to the top, I think there is a player that I like here for them. Yeah, I'm gonna go Alex Tui, the Australian forward. I think this is a solid fit for them here.
It is.
It kind of goes along with the typical Jazz player, if you know what I mean. But no, he can space the floor. Kind of has comparisons to Bogdan Bogdanovic. Just a very simplistic game, but one that's effective. So to me, Utah grabbing him there, that's good value for him. And then who do we got up next? The Will Riley pick. What is this? Dallas
Mavericks.
Dallas. Looking at the big board here, we may have another write-in. Yeah, I'm going to do another write-in. This is going to be R.J. Lewis Jr.
I'm just going to use Xavier Lee because he's R.J. Lewis is not on the draft board.
Nope.
All right.
He wasn't even projected this year when they first started doing polling. But yeah, R.J. Lewis Jr., if you haven't heard the name already, figure it out. Led St. John's to the March Madness tournament. It was their first year making it in a very long time. I'll pull up his stats real quickly as well, so this way you guys have it. Let's see. He is 22, so he is 6'7". He can play the guard, he can play forward, but he averaged 18 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists on 44% shooting, roughly 34% from 3 and 75% from the free throw line. This also goes along with 1.5 steals per game. Very, very solid all-around player. And again, Dallas is in that position where you have a short window next to Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson. So put guys who you can plug in right away and play. I like that pick for them there. Up next, the Yakachonis pick. What is this, Chicago?
Yeah, Chicago. Yes, sir.
Okay. Chicago kind of just needs everything, in all honesty. I don't mind Thomas Haw here. I think he's a center out of Florida. Again, a guy that's going to be a write-in.
Okay.
Let's see. He is... They have him listed as a forward, but he is 6'9".
Spell it for me.
Thomas, Thomas.
I got, yeah.
And then Haugh, Haugh. Yeah, I don't mind that pick there. He can play the 4. He can play the 5, maybe. He's 6'9". But yeah, he had a very, very good March Madness run. Definitely elevated his stock a bit. Averaged 10.6 rebounds, 0.8 blocks, 0.8 steals, to go along with 2 assists on 48.5% from the field. So I don't mind that pick for them there. He is a sophomore, so still a little bit of upside for him. It's not like they're drafting a junior or a senior. But yeah, I kind of like that fit for them there, especially if they're looking to move off of Patrick Williams. They also still have Vucevic for a year. I'm not sure if they're going to move off of him or not, but we'll see. Who's up next? The Miami Heat. Jace Richardson and Yaxel so far. Yeah, I mean, if this guy falls into their lap, congratulations. We're going to go Drake Powell here. Again, just a Miami Heat to heart. We don't know if he's going to go in the draft just yet, but there's no official transfer that I've seen at least. So one of the high caliber defenders in this draft class. They have Tyler Hero. You have Jace Richardson. You have Yaxel. You have Bam. You have Jaquez. You have guys who can shoot and score the ball. So to me, grabbing one of the best defenders in the class is a no-brainer there for them. And then let's see. This is Cleveland up next. Usually I have Jameer Watkins going here, but he has officially entered the transfer portal. Tahad Pettiford is still here, but I don't think they need a point guard, especially one that's the same size as Darius Garland. So we're going to pass on him. Do I want to go with him this early? Let me see what position he plays.
Let me take a leak right quick. I'll be right back.
Sounds good. Yeah, I don't mind this pick here. I mean, if you guys haven't heard of him yet, Micah Peavy out of Georgetown. He's a 6'8" forward senior, averaged 17.6 rebounds, 4 assists on 48% from the field, 40% from three. This is definitely the Cleveland Cavaliers pick. So that's probably who we're going to have them take there. By the way, too, for those of you who are wondering, top available players on my big board still: Tahad Pettiford, Tyrese Proctor, Stojakovic, Darian Williams, who just entered the transfer portal today, Caleb Love, Cedric Coward, Chaz Linier, Sergio Delaria, Carter Knox. So there's a couple of names still that are on the board that will be taken here shortly. I have Cannon Catchings on here as well, but I believe he entered the transfer portal as well. So it's a little bit difficult, especially when you have this kind of strange part of the month, right? Over the next month, you're going to have guys entering the transfer portal, committing to schools, but then potentially leaving those schools and declaring for the draft. Yaxel Lendeborg being a perfect example of that. So to me, yeah, I'm going to probably have them take Micah Peavy here, unless do they go with Chaz Lanier? Let's see. Can Chaz Lanier play the 2? Because if so, I think that's a perfect fit for them. He's 23 years old. Jesus. Yeah, 6'5". I'm going to have them take Chaz Lanier. This is going to be another write-in. The Tennessee guard, so far in his, what is this, his fifth
Chaz,
year?
L-A-N Lanier.
Yeah, Lanier. Yeah, he's 6'4", 6'5". He can play the 1. He can play the 2. Mainly the 2. It looks like he's more of a scorer. 18 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist on 43% from the field, 39.5% from 3. I think that they just need a 2 guard, really, and somebody who can score off the bench. Chaz Lanier definitely fits that description. If you want to go Magoon Guath, I don't think he's getting drafted. Yeah. I think he entered the transfer portal as well. All right. Who is up next? The Clippers. They got Cam Jones. We're going to give him to Tahad Pettiford here. We got to get him off the board. I had him on my big board at 41. I believe we're at, 50 now?
Yeah, he's up here somewhere. I saw him before. Yeah, here he is.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely think they can go guard depth. You know, you got a ton of wings. There's really no center, again, that I'm just in love with at the 49th pick. So I think that that's a good fit for them. The Utah Jazz, they already got their big man, so I'm not going Rocco Zakarsky.
They've had a good draft so far. Trey Johnson, Thomas Sorber, and Alex Tui. They've had a good draft. This is the 4th pick.
Definitely, and we're actually going to add a veteran point guard for them. I'm going to have Tyrese Proctor go here. With Xavier Lee. Yeah, with Xavier Lee in the transfer portal, there's really not another point guard that I just love here. And I think Proctor's that veteran presence that you can add to that Jazz team to kind of elevate them a bit to where they don't completely suck all the time. And especially when you have Trey Johnson, you need another good ball handler off the bench to help him out. So I definitely like that pick there and the value at 50. Let's see. Who is up next? The Knicks. The Shits. All right. Let's see. On my big board so far, pretty much the top 47 are gone. I don't mind Stojakovic here. Caleb Love makes a lot of sense. Do they go high upside with Ding Pate? Thomas Ball is already... Actually, no, this is going to be the Micah Peavy pick. No, go Stojakovic. Yeah, right there. Let's go Stojakovic. I like the value for him there. Sophomore, of course, the son of Peja, averaged 18 points, 5 rebounds, lit it up from the floor. I believe he was shooting, 42.5%? Especially on the volume that he was taking, that's really good. So I like that pick there a lot for him, even though I hate them, of course. But Washington's up here. Let's see. We've gone Bogo, Ace. Yeah, Ace and Nolan Traore. So they got their 1, 3, and 4. I'm going to go Rocco Zakarsky here. If they can land him at 52, that's an incredible value. Probably the best available big man left on the board. And again, that's a very slim position over in Washington. So to grab a guy with some upside, I definitely like that there at 52.
There it is.
Yeah, he's over. They don't do overseas stats, so unfortunately we can't see those. Phoenix up here. What is this? 53?
53. They've taken Boogie Plant so far.
Okay. Yeah, this is where they already got their high upside young guy. Again, though, they're retooling, so they're going to try and be as competitive as possible, potentially, unless, of course, they trade KD to the Rockets and get all their picks back. But
they have Aaron Scott as a top 50 prospect.
I mean, I have him in my top 75, but
do you? Okay,
I do. Yeah, he's a very solid defender. Usually, I have him going to the Cavs with the last pick. Sometimes I'm going to go Micah Peavy here. I don't think he's on the board. Actually, you know what? No, we're going to stick with upside. Go Dink Pate here. I don't mind that for them there. Yeah. I've had him in my top 40 forever, but I dropped him all the way down. There's just too many risers in this class, and his inconsistencies became a bit of an issue. So I'm going to go Dink Pate there. He can play the 1, he can play the 2, he can play the 3. Very versatile, very solid defensively. The offense is a bit inconsistent, but I think for Phoenix, especially, again, if you're retooling around Devin Booker, you just need to add some youth with some upside. And at 53, that's an absolute steal. Indiana up again. They haven't gotten their center, right? Or did they go Janai Broom?
They got Broom. Yeah, 25.
Okay.
Broom.
So they got Janai Broom. I feel like they need to go guard here. They have too many wings. I'm looking at, is Cedric Coward a guard? Let's see. He's not on the board either, by the way. 6'6", he can play the 2. I don't think that's what they need. Yeah, but he can play make a
Caleb Love?
I don't mind Caleb Love either, but I don't know. This is like a personal bias, but I absolutely love Kadary Richmond out of St. John's.
Yeah.
The offensive game's a bit inconsistent, but he is a walking 6+ rebounds, 6+ assist type of guy.
Richmond's on this. Kadari's on this too.
Somewhere.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Richmond's definitely there. I know that.
There it is. Oh no, wait. Yeah,
I want to take Richmond or I don't know. Caleb Love raised his value so much. Yeah, go Caleb Love. We'll go Caleb Love there. Yeah, if you watched what he did with Arizona in March Madness, you'll know exactly why he's back in the second round. Just a microwave scorer. And I think that's kind of what Indiana needs, right? When, Tyrese Halliburton shitting himself like he pretty much did all season long. You kind of need somebody to come off and score.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. The Lakers.
55. We're almost through this draft.
Let's see. You would have to think that they're trying to build something to win now, especially with Luka there, potentially LeBron in his last season. Cedric Coward's still on the board. Darian Williams is still on the board, but I believe he entered the transfer portal as well, so we're not going to take him in this one. I hate Sergio Delaria. I absolutely don't see why he's even a potential draft pick. I think they have him ranked in the top 40 on Tankathon. Guy averages like 6 points and 3 assists. I'm in between right now. Sion James, Cedric Coward, and Micah Peavy. I think I'm going to go Micah Peavy here. He's not on the board, so we're going to do another plug-in. Go with Sanson Johnson. We'll do Sanson Johnson for them. He's right above Sion James. But yeah, it's MICAH PEAVY.
Do one more time.
MICAH.
Oh, Micah.
PEAVY. And I believe he's Georgetown from when we checked. Yeah, Georgetown. 6'8", and I'll pull up the stats again so this way we can give a little bit of an accurate assessment on him. 6'8" senior. He played 5 years in college. 17.6 rebounds, 4 assists, 48% from the field. If you're the Lakers, you're looking for something that you can plug in immediately. And I think that's a guy that could definitely work around a Luka.
The Knicks.
Yeah, this is a forfeited pick, so unfortunately, there only is 59 picks in this year's draft. So
that just screws the player. They should give the pick. They should give someone else like a compensatory pick, like the NFL does.
I know. This
just screws they should allow a
team to. Yeah, they should allow a team to like bid on it. Honestly, to where like
there you go.
Throw like $5,000 and you get the last pick in the draft or something. Yeah, I mean, because it's a wasted pick, I'm gonna go with somebody who I feel like could be drafted, but may not be.
What is this? What were the violations? Do you know why they're losing this pick?
I think this is the Brunson investigation when they tampered with his dad to get him there.
Okay.
So go Peyton Sanford here. I think he is a guy that could get drafted, but again, with his age, they may try and just do undrafted rookie with him. So we're going to go Peyton Sanford. I mean, if that was the next pick, that's who I probably would go with. But because it's forfeited, we'll go with somebody who I think is a borderline second-round pick. Memphis is up here, and this is their first pick. Jesus, that's horrible. 2 guard is definitely something of need. I don't hate Cedric Coward here. I don't hate
Williams is going back to school, so that's out, right? So Jackson
that's out. The top 3 on the board are the top 4 actually. Badunga is also going back to Kansas. I'm thinking Sion James, Cedric Coward, or Hunter Silas.
Oh, I just gave Sion James to someone. I just put him. So yeah. My bad.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Fuck it. You know what? Just type in Sion James. I'll give. Actually, no. Go Cedric Coward. Type in Cedric Coward. We'll go with. Give them Brandon Garrison.
Hang on.
If you scroll all the way to the bottom. Give him that. What is that? Taman? I can't see. It's a little blurry.
Yeah.
Go Cedric Coward. I believe he's Florida as well, if I'm not mistaken. If not Tennessee. Could be completely wrong. Oh, yeah, completely wrong. Washington State. Cedric Coward, 4-year guy, senior. Averaged 17.7 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. He shot 56% from the field and 40 from 3. So this is a really good fit for Memphis, especially for a team that could use a backup too. A plug-in type of guy right away, and especially if they can once again rehabilitate Ja Morant from being a moron. This is still a team that's contending out west. So Orlando is up here at 58. They've drafted Clifford and Igor, so they don't need a guard. Let's see. We've already taken Peavy. Hunter Salas is still on the board, but I don't think they need another guard. I could see this being the Sion James pick. Because he could space the floor. Yeah, right in Sion James. Go with that Ben Henshaw or whatever. Herschel. Or Sam Walters right there. Whatever works. Yeah, right in Sion James there. We'll have him head to Orlando. He can play the 2, he can play the 3. Good floor spacer. Kind of like a DFS light version. But again, Orlando just kind of needs floor spacing and defense. So why not add one of the better 3-and-D players in this draft class? Sion James to Orlando. And then this is Cleveland at 59.
59.
All right, so we already gave them... It says Magoon Gawath. I forgot who we gave him here. Did we give him Chaz Lanier?
Yeah,
I think Chaz Lanier. I mean, I would love if they got him. But I'm debating. Yeah, give it to him. Give him Kaderi Richmond. I absolutely love that fit.
There you go.
There he is. I had to throw him in there somewhere. Absolutely fucking love that kid. He's just 6'6" guard, can do it all.
There he is.
Can play, make, can rebound. The shot is very inconsistent, but it's something that could definitely be worked around. I mean, the efficiency wasn't horrible, but definitely in key moments he struggled. So the final pick, the Houston Rockets, we gave them what? Jeremiah Fears. So they can definitely go wing or big. Let's see. As of right now, best players available on my big board that are eligible: Michael Ruzick, Sergio Delaria, Carter Knox, Otego Wu, Hunter Salas,
Carter Knox,
Aaron Scott. I'm kind of trying to base it off if they go KD here.
Yeah.
Give him Michael Ruzick. We'll give him Michael Ruzick, a 6'10", 6'11" forward.
Is he going to be?
Yeah, he'll be on here. If
you want a shooter? You want Kobe Bria? You want a shooter? If you're going to go right or no?
How tall is he?
6'7", 6'7", 3.
Oh yeah, I like that. Go Kobe Bria. Yeah, I have him on my big board actually as well, so I don't mind that. I was kind of basing it off if they decide to trade both Dylan Brooks and Jabari Smith, because they may need a wing replacement. But yeah, I mean, if he's 6'7", he can play the 3, so I don't hate that pick at all. And just for those who are wondering, I'll go down my second round. You already saw the first round, so that's pretty much the whole entire big board. The only player in the first round that was not selected who I had on my first round big board is Isaiah Evans. He was selected with the first pick in the second. But my second round big board is Hugo Gonzalez, Noah Penda, Cam Jones, Maxime Reynaud. It was JT Toppin, but he's gone. Liberian Filan, Juan Beringer, Alex Caraban, Alex Condon, Bogo Lajub Markovich, Tahad Pettiford, Ryan Kalkbrenner, Tyrese Proctor, Miles Bird, RJ Lewis. So that's 31 through 45. 46 through 60 is Drake Powell. Again, could be a transfer. Alex Tui, Andrei Stojakovic. I did have Xavier Lee, but he decided to transfer today. Darian Williams decided to transfer. Jameer Watkins decided to transfer. Caleb Love, Michael Ruzick, Cedric Coward, Sergio Delaria, Chaz Lanier, Carter Knox, Zion James, Kadari Richmond, and Rocco Zakarski. And then to fill out the final 75, 61 through 75, Peyton Sanford, Otego Wu, Hunter Salas, Cannon Catchings decided to transfer. KJ Lewis, I believe he's in the transfer portal right now. Aaron Scott, Jalen Lowe, Baba Miller, Bennett Sturts, Thomas Haw, Micah Peavy, Milos Uzan, Kobe Bria, Ding Pate, and Hansa Yang, the Chinese center. So that's pretty much my top 75. Again, we're going to have a little bit more information on who's actually going to be eligible in the second round based on the transfer portal. I believe the deadline for that is like 2 or 3 weeks before the draft lottery. I could be completely wrong on that, actually. Let's look that up real quick. But Gary, what are your thoughts on the draft? Anything that you would change, Nets related, just in general? What do you think? Oh, you're muted.
I think the Nets hit an absolute home run. If we walked away with this draft, we're good. Like we drafted 2, and then what was it, 8 again? Yeah, 8 with Derek Queen. Just there, you've changed your franchise. I think like you're no longer in hell, and it could take. Queen's a little older, but it could take Harper a couple. But you have something, right? Even if it takes Harper a year or two to become a really big impact player, he's going to be that. And Queen he's 20 years old. He should make an impact pretty quickly. If we got this, and then we took the Rasheed Fleming at 26. To me, this is as good as you can hope. This is as good as you can hope for. We traded Cam Johnson's contract. Like if this were to become and then Hugo Gonzalez too. This is an absolute home run. Like you've changed the direction of your franchise with this draft.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, it's going to be a bit difficult if San Antonio does land 8. I don't know if they trade that pick. I could see Dallas at 12 or 13 being a team that you could potentially move up with. San Antonio at whatever pick they are in between 15 and 17, I could see that being a potential move up spot. I'm looking at teams like Miami and Indiana between that 20 through 23 range as well. I think those are teams that you could look to move up with. Minnesota, whether they're picking 18 or 19, I could see that being another team Brooklyn looks to move up with. So ideally, it would be nice to see a trade prior to draft night, kind of solidifying 3 top 20 picks, right? So like, for example, if they can move 26 and 35 before the draft even starts to Minnesota, you'd have pick 18, 19, and your top 7 pick. I think that kind of puts you in a position to package up 18 and 26 or 27, whatever it may be, to move up into the top 5, into the top 10 potentially. So hopefully those moves are made a little bit prior. I do have the information here. You're actually allowed to declare for the draft up until June 15th. So players who are currently in the transfer portal have roughly 10 days before the NBA draft, which is set to be June 25th this year. They have 10 days prior to the draft to declare into this draft. So it's going to be a long 3 months, right? What are we, April, May, June? Oh, so 2 months. They got 2 months pretty much to make their decision whether or not they're going to stay in college or enter the draft. So some decisions will be made here shortly. Overall, I think the first round is as accurate as you can get in terms of just around the range of players, right? How I always kind of base it is you could pick that player either 2 picks ahead or 2 picks underneath. That's kind of how I see the range. I always give it like a 5 to 6 pick range for most players. Guys in the top 10, it's really more so like a 1 to 2 pick range. But once you get outside that lottery, like Rasheer Fleming could go as high as 18, but as low as 26. Clayton can go as high as 20, but go as low as 27. Fiaro could go as high as 26, but as low as 33. Like there's definitely ranges for these players, which I wouldn't be surprised at. But I definitely think we are getting a bit more and more accurate with these mock drafts as we go along. So hopefully we can do another one in about 2 weeks.
Well, let's try to do one if we can every week. I mean, we don't have there's no basketball left, but that's basketball left. Let's try to do one a week.
Yeah, I'm down for it. Any final thoughts on this one? What changes would you make? Let's hear it.
Let me pull this up. For the Nets, I wouldn't change anything. I wanted trade. No, a lot of this is good. There was a couple of guys. Fears I would have go probably higher. I'm not sure where. I just can't at a certain point you just gotta take the best player available.
I know.
And then same thing. I like Asa Noel a lot. I don't know if other teams feel that way. 6'11".
I'm seeing him mocked between 17 and 21 now.
All right,
which is crazy.
Yeah. It is the top 20 picks. It is kind of loaded, right? But to me, so they have Liam McNeely going ahead of Asa Noel in a lot of drafts. I know 1 to 3 and 1 to 4, but they're going to fill a lot of the same space. Like they're going to stretch, and Noel's got a better mid-range game, and he can shoot the long ball, and he's 6'11". I haven't looked at the rebounding stats, but I would imagine Asa Noel's a better rebounder than McNeely too, right?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, Asa Noel has a ton of upside.
So, why am I taking Liam McNeely over Asa Noel?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I mean, like I said, the most recent mock draft I saw, I believe, had Asa between 17 and 21. McNeely was at 18 to Brooklyn. Actually, if you want to go over that one real quick, Bleacher Report's most recent mock draft, I think it was Jeremiah Fears, Liam McNeely, Rasheer Fleming, and Yaxel Lendeborg to Brooklyn. I forgot who their second round pick was. If you want to look that up and share it, maybe we can go over it real quick. But yeah, we're not really going to get many accurate mock drafts up until probably about the final week. Basketball is one of those mock drafts that usually aren't accurate. Like the NFL, you kind of have a good picture on where players are going to go. Yeah. But when it comes to the second round and picks 10 through 14, there's a lot of interchangeable picks that you'll see. Like, for example, last year, Tajon Saloon wasn't projected to go top 7, but Charlotte took him. He was a guy that was projected 12 through 14, if not just outside the lottery. So there's changes left and right. Like Rob Dillingham wasn't projected to go top 10. Again, he was late lottery, just outside the lottery, and Minnesota ended up trading up for him. So things happen. We're not going to really get the full accurate assessment of the second round until around June 15th, once all the players are declared.
They've got BJ going ahead of Ace too. Okay.
Yeah, because of Charlotte. Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I said if it's Charlotte and they want to keep LaMelo Ball happy and have a future with him, VJ's the pick by far. You can't put Ace next to Brandon Miller. It just defeats the whole entire purpose. But yeah, there's a couple of teams I would have VJ go.
Yeah. Mallywock. Mallywock's going to go before. The upside on Mallywock is crazy. He's going to go before 10.
Problem is just the fit.
Yeah.
Some teams aren't really, Houston, for example, really doesn't need a Mallywock. Colin Murray Boyle.
Someone's got to trade up for him then, right? You can't let all of these names go ahead of him. I gotta get him.
Looking at the Tankathon projections, right? Not projections, but just the fits within the lottery, right? New Orleans at 4. Let's just say there was no such thing as a lottery, right? I don't see Washington taking him at 2. I don't see Charlotte taking him at 3. I don't see New Orleans taking him at 4. Maybe Philly takes him at 5, but again, they're looking to contend. Kaman's a bit of a project. I think they need a little bit more of a consistent scorer with Paul George's digression. Brooklyn at 6. If Fears, Kneppel, and Kneppel are there, I don't think that they go Kaman Mallywock. The Raptors at 7, I could see that. The Spurs at 8, maybe. Houston,
I want to ask you about this. But go ahead. I want to. They have him listed as a center, and I want. There's no way Ashton Noel is playing center, not at this size, right? Like 6'11". They listed him at 220. He looks about 180 pounds to me, right? Like, but I want to ask you, is that he's not?
No, he's a 4. Yeah, he's a 4. He's a 4 that'll be put in a position to have to play the 5 probably. But
he'll play 5 in small doses, but he's not going to play the 5 for 25 minutes a game, right?
No,
I mean, there's just no way.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, I mean, Danny Wolf could definitely go higher. There's upside for him, but it really just depends. Like, who are the teams between 16 and 22 on here? If you don't mind scrolling down a bit, or potentially up.
What do you want to say? 16?
16 through 22.
So you got Carter Bryant to Orlando. Minnesota's taking Saraf. Brooklyn. I don't want to go Liam McNeely.
Oh, no, meaning on our draft.
On our draft.
Yeah, because I have Wolf going, I believe it was 23. So I want to see the teams before that.
Dallas, we made that trade.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I could see the Spurs going with him at 18, but if they were going to go with a center, I would feel like they would go Sorber. To me, Sorber is going to go higher than Wolf. So until Sorber gets taken, I don't see Wolf getting taken.
Yeah, I would. Sorber's got to go higher than Wolf, right? I mean, yeah.
I mean, listen, depending on if he can get healthy before the combine and perform well at the combine, his value could raise. Like, he could be one of those interchangeable guys that go 14.
He's a legitimate 6'10". That's a legitimate. He's not 6'9". He's not 6'8.5". He's 6'10". If that's legitimate 6'10",
I believe so.
Yeah,
we'll figure that out in like a month and a half during the combine. But yeah,
I think this is well done, partner. I think this is well done, sort of, Johnny Brown.
Yeah. The second round is so hard because there's so much talent. Like, it depends on if a team wants upside or immediate plug-in and fit, right? So, like, if you scroll down towards like the 35 picks, right? Alex Caravan could genuinely be a top 35 pick, but you got Charlotte there who needs young. You have Brooklyn there who needs young. You have Detroit who is getting to that point where they're like contending for playoff spots, but they still probably want to go with some form of youth. So it'll be interesting to see. We're definitely going to get answers. Like, if Yaxel Lendeborg goes back to college, if you keep scrolling down, like if Liberian Filan decides to go back to college, No, there's a few other guys, but you get the point. Like, there's certain players that if they go back to college, that there's going to be guys who rise up the rankings. But yeah, I mean, I can't complain at all. Like I said, there was about 12 other guys who are on my big board that could genuinely be late second round picks. I mean, the guys that we didn't take, Hansi Yang, the center out of China, Baba Miller, Jalen Lowe, Aaron Scott, Hunter Salas, Otego Wu. I don't think we took Carter Knox, Sergio Delaria. That's already 8. Yeah, I mean, there's about 8 to 10 guys that we didn't take who genuinely could be second-round talents. So depending on these transfer portal moves, they may be bumping up into the draft as well. So we'll find out shortly. But any last comments, thoughts?
No, I think that's well done, partner. I will try to bring you one next week. I will let you know the day and the time as we get closer. But I think doing this once a week, I think it's a good exercise and it gets us closer. We'll see how it progresses as we get closer and we find out the actual lottery order and everything. It'll get more and more accurate. But this was good.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, listen, I appreciate everybody for tuning in and joining. Gary, thanks for jumping on such quick notice. We were originally going to do this tomorrow, but wanted to get this out to you as quick as possible. So leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts, what you would change. Make sure to subscribe, whether you're watching us on the Nets Press podcast or the BK Nothing But Nets podcast. Make sure to follow Gary on Twitter. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Nets Press. And Gary, any final messages?
No, that's it. From Texas to the world. Thank you. God bless.
Later.